Hello, this is Dr. Kinsley of Info Sessions with Kinsley. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I hope you guys are all doing well. My channel is dedicated to highlighting school and scholarship opportunities to different countries of the world. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, better subscribe because there's always new information I'm churning out to just make sure that you are updated and you can get to from where you are to where you want to be. Today, I'll be talking about how to choose best fit programs and courses for study abroad. And if this is of interest to you, I want you to keep watching. So I'm going to divide this video into two sections, and one session is for undergrad students and the other session is for the graduate students. Now let's start with how to choose best fit programs and courses for undergrad students. If you are an undergrad student, definitely in your country, you are either going to be majoring in sciences or in the arts and things like that. So for undergrad students, the first thing you need to consider very clearly is what are your academic strengths. You want to know where and what are your strengths. There's really no point choosing a program that you're going to struggle with academically. Remember that when you come to study in Canada, in the US, or the UK, or Australia, or some other countries, study methods, study patterns, they are very intense. So you can't choose a program where you struggle. The first you're going to be asking yourself, what are your academic strengths? If, for example, you're very good in math and physics and things like that, they can be thinking about engineering, medicine, and some other programs. But if you're not very good in mathematics or physics or chemistry, then those programs are probably not for you. There are many other programs you can choose from. That's the first thing. The second thing you're going to be asking yourself is, which program has got good career potentials 10, 15 years down the road? Which programs are relevant in the country you're going to study and where you want to eventually settle down in and work? Now that is very important because remember that different programs are relevant in different countries. So do your research, know which programs are relevant, which programs have got good career prospects, and then go along those programs. Also, in going along those programs, it's also important for you to understand that it's not just enough for the programs to be relevant and got good career prospects or they pay very well, but are you academically fit for that program? Are you a good academic fit for that program? So it's a combination of these factors you have to be thinking about when you're thinking about making school applications for undergrad programs. Another very important factor you should be thinking about when you're choosing programs from undergrad studies is the cost. See, there's really no point making applications, getting school admissions for a program in a school that your parents cannot afford or your sponsors cannot afford. So it's very important that you consider the cost, the tuition, the fees, other fees associated with schooling in that place, the cost of living. Consider the cost before making such applications. For example, programs like engineering, programs like nursing, some other programs like IT, they're expensive programs, all over the world, they're expensive programs. So make sure to factor in the cost and fees for that program before you choose it. And again, cost varies from school to school. For example, the cost of an engineering program at University of Toronto, for example, is different from the cost of the same engineering program at, for example, University of Lethbridge. So always pay close attention to the cost and make sure it's something you can afford. Again, there is no point getting school admission and you can't afford it. Now, still on the undergrad programs, in Canada, in the US, for example, medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, law, these programs are considered graduate programs. So it means that you cannot finish from high school in your country and can't start these programs. You have to do a pre-med, a pre-law, a pre-dentistry, a pre-pharmacy. So you have to probably have like a prior undergrad or a bachelor's degree. So we are thinking about these programs in these countries, US, Canada. Remember, they are graduate programs and you have to start from a pre-med or a pre-law program. And again, for Canada, let me be very clear about that. For Canada, medicine, for example, dentistry, for example, it's only open to Canadian citizens and permanent residents. Now, The few exceptions, the few schools that allow you as as an international student to study medicine in Canada, like University of Toronto, they are very, very expensive. So it's something for you to be aware of and plan accordingly before you think of commencing your studies in this country. Now, for graduate studies, whether be it a postgraduate diploma, a master's, a PhD, all these things also, what I've just talked about with regards to the undergrad, they apply. So you need to, find your best fit with regards to your academic strength. You need to know the programs that are relevant or the courses that are relevant and that are projected to be relevant, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. You need to also know the cost of the program, whether you're going for a course-based or a thesis-based program. You need to know these factors also. One big distinction or one big thing I want to mention when it comes to choosing graduate school programs is your career progression. So for example, you finished your bachelor's 5 years ago. You studied something like microbiology, for example, and then for the past five years, you'll be working as a banker in your home country. Now, after 5 years, you want to go back to school, let's say in Canada, for example, it does not make sense for you to be applying to microbiology programs, even though that was your bachelor's degree, where you got your bachelor's degree. And the reason is simple. Since you got your bachelor's degree, you've done nothing in microbiology. Instead, you're working as a banker. So for you, it's very important to then go along your line of career progression. So when you've been removed from your bachelor's degree, say 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and you've done nothing, with regards to work experiences in the original course you studied for your bachelor's degree, it's important for you to go along your career progression. And this is where many persons miss it. Many persons miss it here. Because when you make your applications, remember that applications to schools in Canada and US, they are competitive, given the number of students you are competing against. So it's very important that you go along the line of a career progression. So for such a person who does studied microbiology, and for the past 5, 6, 7 years have been working as a banker, your best fit programs are going to be along the banking, finance, line of programs, not microbiology, because you are too far removed. You have no career progression for microbiology. The other thing I'll quickly mention is this. For graduate school programs, you have thesis-based, you have course-based, and then it's important for you to also understand, the differences. But what I just highlight is this, that for thesis-based program, many of them, you need to secure a supervisor, before you can apply to that program, in that particular school. Most times the schools want you to secure supervisors. Now, there are exceptions to this. There are some schools that offer thesis-based programs and you don't need to secure a supervisor, but the bulk of them will require you to secure a supervisor. And there are advantages to that. The advantage is that when you secure a supervisor, most times you are funded. On the other hand, for course-based programs, you don't need to secure a supervisor, and most time you can just apply directly to the program. And most course-based programs are not funded. A few are funded, but many are not funded. So it's something that you must pay close attention to. Ask yourself, am I academically fit for this program? This program, does it align with my academic strength? Do I have the right career progression for this program? Does this program have good career prospect 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years down the road? Can I afford this program? It's a 2-year program, for example. Do I have the tuition, the fees, and other finances associated, with these programs to be able to complete this program successfully? These are very important questions you should be asking yourself as you make your choices. So I hope by watching this video, you can make very strategic decisions on how to choose best fit programs for your study, whether undergrad or graduate study. And again, if you've not subscribed to to my channel, please subscribe. And again, invite your friends and families and those in your circle of influences to subscribe to my channel. And also just share with as many persons you think will benefit from this video. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.